Hi, Bat here, and a quick video regarding writing and writing community and the wonderful podcast, The Bestseller Experiment. I've written a few blogs about them, so here's a quick video. It's 2016 in October, and Mark DeVoe and Mark Stay end up catching up, old high school friends, and they have this crazy idea of writing a bestseller together and to do a podcast to take the listeners on the journey with them, and that resulted in the book Back to Reality. Now, the early episodes are still really worth listening to, partly because of all the different multi-million selling authors that they speak to over the series, and some of the tips and feedback they get given are pretty epic, including one of the most epic telling-offs from Ben Aronovich. As the series is continued, interviewing more and more successful and quite wildly impressive authors, they've also set up a Patreon fund which gives people access to deep dive episodes. And these tend to look at a subject in a bit more depth, whether it's about different types of advertising, like Facebook ads and the pros and cons of them, or like in my case, I actually got interviewed by Mark Stay regarding speech recognition. I've had repetitive strain injury since 1999, and due to that I've been using dictation in one form or another, and for many years it was awful, and really in the last sort of 7-8 years it's become quite impressive. So I actually wrote an article, a blog post responding to a question from the Bestseller Experiment. I think it was episode 156, and I think my deep dive's 181. It was the pros and cons dispelling the myths of speech recognition. So if you want to hear more about that, then I guess you have to become a Patreon supporter. And kind of the other thing that I thought was worth mentioning, I mean, it's great that, people like us will go out and buy massive amounts of books like this, for example, lots of tips and the crafts. Another benefit from joining the Patreon is to get access to the BXP team, which is the chart topper rating $10 a month. And it's got a couple of different names, like the Experimentalists, or the Experiments, or the Best Experiments. And it's a collection of listeners who've got together, and we give feedback when Back to Reality was being finalised. And that went on to giving feedback to each other as well. So we've got people submitting their front covers of their book and taglines, synopsis, and in some cases people actually asking others to review their work, which I've helped out a little bit, and I'm hoping in future other people can help me. And having been to university doing a writing and psychology degree, it's been a while since I've been part of a writing group. Now, it's not that you should have to pay to be part of a writing group at all. It's just that this particular community, these are like-minded, heavily invested individuals who, for the most part, are fanatics of the show, have listened to every episode, probably more than once. And, we're all kind of on the same sort of wavelength regarding things. And the nice thing is it's quite a different group of people, so, they've got different individuals pointing out different aspects. And that way you're getting a better spread of ideas and feedback. Another reason to join the BXP team is the one-page punch-up. These are amazing. Your work gets submitted, and if you're lucky enough to be chosen, and they do say like 4 or 5, maybe 6 per episode special, then an editor is going to be looking at the work and giving critique feedback on it, as well as Mark Stay or Mark DeVoe as well. So the next one that's coming up, I've actually submitted a fantasy piece to. It's a science fiction and fantasy special one, and Galance's Gillian Redfern and Marcus Gibbs are going to be actually looking at it. And on a previous one-page punch-up, one of the submissions which was particularly impressive, the editor actually asked for more of that work to be sent on. So who knows, this could be a way for that particular author to kind of jump the queue. Submitting things via an agent or directly to a publishing house can result in, unfortunately, the backlog of the amount of submissions that they have. And of course, in history, there's various people who eventually ended up being published years after they sent something in, because publishing companies have got so many things to look at. So this is an incredible actual asset and another great reason to be part of the Experimentalist team. And I think if that doesn't grip it, well, probably nothing does, but I'm certainly happy that I'm a member of the community. And of course the other benefit of this is anything that is submitted and is discussed on the show, the BXP team can have a look at the actual work as well. Well, that's enough waffling for me. I recommend checking out the Bestseller Experiment podcast, and then I think you'd be hooked on to joining the BXP team. Hope to see you there.